in a world where equality is just another euphemism for mediocrity, where participation is more highly valued than achievement, where just enough to get by is the new standard of excellence. There is a small minority of people who fight back against such apathy, who struggle daily to reach new heights. These brave few are the hope for the future, the bright shining light for the next generation. They are the ones who will lead us to the places we have never dreamed of, to the undiscovered country, to reach goals only a few can even begin to imagine. Unfortunately, none of those people could be here tonight, so kick back and relax. Prepare yourself for several hours of fun, friendship, fascinating conversation, and fabulous music. All those F's, that's an alliteration and kind of a radio trick. Speaking of radio, you're listening to the most popular radio station in the history of broadcast radio, at least among stations that originate from Chris's living room. It's Curious Times. Your host is a Curious Listener. Here she is. Chris.
Hello, welcome to Curious Times. Welcome to the Cranky Hour at Curious Times. And I'm having a problem with my computer again today. And oh my God, I just want to throw it right out. I'm hearing this like constant noise in my headset. And it's, if anybody who knows me, you know that noises bother me badly. I blame it on the head injury. I cannot handle it. I may go out of my ever-loving effing mind here yet before we're done. So, when the music plays, I don't hear it. So, get ready for 2 hours of music. I'm just kidding. And, yeah, for sure. I cannot cope. I'm serious right now. Okay, I will cope. I will survive. Hey, hey. Okay, welcome to the Dumb Stupid Show. And it is June 22nd. June 22nd. And that's just her way of showing off her boobs. Now, for people listening in archives and not watching on the video, Kathleen is now showing us her shirt, which says blank U blank K cancer. So it's basically saying fuck cancer. Okay. Yes, I figured that part out easily. And so she has, and those letters are big letters. Big letters, Kathy. My, what big letters you have. Okay. Anyway, can't handle it. Oh my God. First of all, before I get going very much, whoever the wireless caller is, can you please press 1 and tell me who you are? And so I can figure out if you're just listening or what you're doing. If not, okay, there you are. Hello, who's that?
This is Annette, hon.
Annette?
Yeah?
Hi, Annette, how are you?
Well, I'm going to figure out a new phone like you're trying to mess with your computer, so I understand what you're going through.
I hear you. So are you calling just to listen or to get a reading later, or what are you doing?
Well, I'd like to get a reading.
Okay, so we're going to do our thing, and we're going to, talk on our topic and all that kind of stuff, and so then we'll take you a little bit later, if that's okay with you?
That's fine. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for listening, Annette. Just press 1 again to mute your damn self, because I'm too lazy to mute and unmute people. So just push 1 again and you'll be good. Excellent. See, mute your damn selves over there. I could not be bothered to mute people and unmute people and everything like that. I'm tired. Okay. What's coming up tomorrow? We have Jen Young and Amy Kavanaugh for Stop, Drop, and Think. Dorothy Holder's here Friday, Saturday. Aaliyah Dawn from Cara Center And on Sunday, she's going to be filling in for a few Sundays for us over the summer. And it's Kelly, who was one of the students that was here doing their practicum and trying to get some practice. So that's what's going to happen there. Monday I have nothing. Tuesday Nick Fox is theoretically going to be here. Although I think he's missed his last 2 shows. I can't really remember. And so we'll see. You know. I have just found out something, which is that there's only, as far as the video archives go, there's only something like 50 hours per host that's going to be allowed to be archived. And so I'm really sad because the show we did the day that Kathy died is gone. Poof, gone. And if I would have known that it was going to go poof, gone, I would have done everything I could to download it, and if failing that, I would have just played it and done a screen record to preserve that. So from now on, basically, it's just now. Don't mistake me. What I'm saying is the video archive on IntuiTalks.com. There's 2 kinds of ways you can listen to us. Your audio archive is, as far as I know, unlimited unless there's glitches and this and that and certain things happen. Okay. The video archive takes up a great deal of memory. And given that I do 2 to 3 hour shows every day, I'm hogging up the whole effing place. And so, and Jenny did try to save, she knew that show and she thought that she saved it and something must have went wrong in that. And if I just would have known, I would have done everything I could to keep a copy myself. And then that's fine. You know what I mean? It's no big deal. It's not going to be the end of the world. And just to be clear, the audio archives, and as more hosts are coming on board, I'm not the only show in town no more. You know what I mean? I never was, but you know, as more shows come on, it's just for the audio part. So people will still be able to listen to the iTunes and the Spreaker, and they're also automatically, I guess, uploading to YouTube with the audio streams. And so IntuiTalks has a YouTube channel now. I think that's probably because of Spreaker or something. It's uploading automatically to YouTube. I may or may not look into simulcasting on Google Hangout, in which case what I would do is just a private show on Google Hangout. Now, what would be the difference is that might be useless because it won't capture the chat or the picture, like the virtual classroom area or any of that if I do it on YouTube. So it might just be making myself more problems than I need, and I won't accomplish necessarily what I want to. So it's no big deal. For all that time I did a radio show, there was no video. And so all I'm doing is saying, like, if there's a day that I'm particularly beautiful, and you want to look at me more on that particularly beautiful day, then you might want to, you know, take one last look at that certain episode before it disappears. About 50 hours worth. About 50 hours on, it's in the eye of the beholder, hey? About 50 hours worth, and then it starts to replace, a new show will replace the previous show. So that's the deal. That's what's going on with that. Audio, again, will always be there. Although the audio is even gone for the, I can't remember. Before I say anything, I'm just going to shut up. Okay, so audio will be there. This only affects the video archives. Peace out. Well, not. Okay. I got nothing else. Kathleen, sir, we might talk about this case in Ohio, bunch of missing women that's been profiled on a show called The Vanishing Women. I think it's called The Vanishing Women, and it's on Investigation Discovery. Of course, I don't get Investigation Discovery. Investigation Discovery is too smart to figure out I'm from Canada, and they won't stream it from their website to a Canadian. And I tried to use Hide My Ass, and that didn't work. And I did see episode 1 on YouTube. I saw episode 1 on YouTube, and I kind of had the sneaking damn suspicion it was going to be disappearing. It was going to be the disappeared, and it was. I went back again just about an hour ago because I wanted to watch it again and this time take notes, and it was gone. Anybody who posted the damn show is now banned off YouTube and blah, blah, blah. And it's on Google Play, but I can't make Google Play work for me. It will not work for me. I do not know why. I do not know why I am so freaking cursed on all this stuff, but I am. And so there you go. That's the scoop. So we'll talk a little bit about that with Kathleen, and we may continue to look into this case a little bit more as I'm able to get a little more homework done on it. It's very confusing because there's, a total of 6 and a total of 7 maybe, and 2 of them they kind of feel are not related to the others. 3 bodies have been found. 2 are still missing. I believe that's how it goes. Or 2 bodies were found and 3 are still missing. I can't exactly remember. There were some nearby missing and dead women and stuff like this that was attributed to a prostitute had shot and killed a dude in, I don't know, WV, West Virginia maybe, or something like that. Is that close to Ohio? West Virginia? Couple hours down the, okay. And so this prostitute, this dude had, gone there. He was trying to kill her. She got a hold of his gun and shot him dead. He had a list of 6 other names on him. Neil something or other was his name. Neil something or other. This happened last July of 2015. And he got killed dead. And so they were looking at him for these other Ohio, but they pretty much ruled that out. So anyways, I'm going to bring Kathleen on. She's a psychic medium, clairvoyant, clair everything, a minister, a counselor, blah, blah, blah. She is a regular guest here, which I'm grateful for. She does private readings, gallery readings, house clearings, motivational speakings, and all of this kind of stuff. You can contact her through a few different means by telephone at 330-554-8202. Unless you are do not do this to hound the poor woman. Use the phone number if you're going to buy a reading off her. You don't get to call her at midnight because you want to know if your boyfriend's going to call. Really. She's going to tell you, no, he's not going to call you because I'm on the other line with him right now. And so I got to go, bye. You know what I mean? And so don't abuse that. Anyway, and email her at KathleenMooreReading@gmail.com, and you can find her website at KathleenMoorePsychic-medium.com. This sound is driving me crazy. Here comes Kathleen. Hi, Kathleen. How you doing?
Hi, Chris. I'm doing fine. How are you? Other than the noise in your ear.
I couldn't be better. Thank you for asking.
I know how you feel about noises. I have the same problem. I'm like, where's that noise coming from? My poor husband. He's like, what noise?
I know.
What noise?
If this is going to keep driving me crazy, what I might do is jump on over and the reason I like to start the show out on Skype is because that's the way I can make clownfish work, which is the only way I can play audio. It's not easy being me, you guys. So anyway, I might jump off here and see if the browser is going to be any better for me. So anyway, so tell anybody if you have any new exciting. The postman did not ring today. And
okay. I was wondering if you got your package yet.
I couldn't hardly sleep, you know what I mean? I was like, first I tried doing a little more plumbing. That didn't work out as well as my plumbing from yesterday. But I'm going to keep at it. And so then when I went to go lay down, I was all like, well, is the mailman coming or not coming, and blah, 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 you know what I mean? And so I didn't really get to sleep very much. So anyway, what's going on?
I was hoping you'd get that today. Things are good. I'm going to be, I'm starting to have a crystal shop as well, and helping people and with picking out crystals, and as well as crystal jewelry and that kind of stuff. I've been doing a lot of crystal work, so I'm going to be adding that to my list of things to do. And then,
awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be an online, but I've been recently doing a lot of crystal work, and I've been picking out some pieces for people specifically. It just seems to come to me when I'm working with the crystals and picking them out. And sometimes it takes a little bit. I'll go and do that, and then I've been making some new jewelry and everything. So I'm really excited about that. So we're going to be adding that to the website, and then we might actually be doing a separate crystal store and Crystal of the Month Club and all sorts of stuff. So we're pretty excited about that. And
who is we? You and the hubby, or you got another partner in that? Or?
Me and the hubby, and then Sheila helps me. She's like my manager, and then Erin, she does all my bookings and does a bunch of stuff for
right
me,
on.
my sister-in-law. So
hey, whatever happened to Sheila? What's Sheila doing these days? I never see her anymore.
She's been working really, really hard. She's been doing it, and then she moved, and she's been settling in, but she's the one that helps me a lot with that kind of stuff too as well. So it'll be Sheila, Erin, and my hubby and I. So
do me a favor, Kathleen. Tap on your microphone.
It's up here.
Okay, there we go.
There, sorry, I probably had it up too high.
That's way better. In mind
sorry,
that,
I forget I put it up there when I first get on, and I forget to pull it back down.
Don't forget, don't be smashing around with it, you know?
I forget.
Make me go crazier.
You'll make me call Deb on you.
Now you sounded way better. Way better.
I forget to bring it down. So that's what I've been doing.
Happy. See, it's the little things that make me happy.
Well, that's good. I want to, if it's that easy, hey, I'm all for it.
It is that easy. I know, right? I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't. Well, other than it's just the way I want it to be. Otherwise, I wouldn't have to really be single, because I'm just really that easy to please, you know. And
that's awesome.
So yeah. And so
I was
anyway,
I sent you some special stuff that I found when I was doing my crystals, when I was buying and looking at crystals and stuff. So I was hoping you'd get those today. I'm disappointed you didn't.
I know. That's why I'm now, because you said that to me. If you wouldn't have said that to me, I'm
right.
You know what I mean? It would have been whatever, right? And
right.
Instead, she's got to go, I sent from and it should be there in 6 to 10 business days, and all like, and so, it's just,
probably stuck at the border.
If I know what's coming, then it's all like chills, but then somebody has to just go and go, I sent something special in there. No, now if you were in Canada, I'd be crossing my fingers that it was a big fatty or something like that. But but I know that that's not what it is. So no, anyway, I do want to say, she's not here though. Canada Post might be getting locked out. It's not a strike, it's a lockout. Whoever said that to me yesterday? Who did say that yesterday?
I hope not.
It was Calgary. Deborah in Calgary. She said Canada Post might be going on strike, and I looked it up, and it's like, no, Canada Post is threatening to lock out the postal workers. starting about July 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, or something like early July. That's a big difference than a strike, people.
What's the difference?
Well, the difference is that when you have a strike on the union side or a lockout on the employer side,
right.
So when negotiations are not going along to the satisfaction of one of those parties, then they invoke their legislative rights under there. And so what you have usually in a lockout scenario is an employer that wants to impose more cutbacks and a union that's saying, sorry, we can't take any more cuts, you know? And the union wants to negotiate. And I haven't heard that the employer saying, oh, they're looking for ridiculous, you know, and the union saying, we're going on strike for 20% pay raises and, you know, like not that at all. And this day and age, nobody can afford any more freaking rollbacks, you know? And so this is entirely a Canada Post. Now, last time there was a disruption to the service. The work, this is what pisses me off. Last time the union went on strike. So the employer goes and they apply, and the government of Canada legislatively forces them back to work. But now you have this hypocrite employer, who's the employer that tried to go to the government to get them to be forced to go back to work, which really spits in the face of their legal right to strike. Like, how can you have a legal right to strike and then be able to just say, but the government says, sorry, Charlie. And so now you have the employer saying, screw you, we're going to lock you out. We're going to starve you out until you agree to what we want, our concessions, you know? And that really irritates me. It really does. But anyway, so Canada Post goes out. That kind of sucks.
So if that happens, you'll have to let me know. So if I have to send you anything, I'll just send it by UPS or FedEx or whatever then.
Yeah, or we can wait, you know what I mean? I don't think that there's any life and death things or whatever, you know?
I know, but I'm kind of weird. Like, I decide I want to send you something, I want to send it.
Now, don't make me move just to, you know what I mean? I have to move just to... no, I'm kidding. So, okay, anyway, let's get on with our topic because it's already a half an hour killed into the show. So tell me, you contacted me a few days back and said, hey, and then what did you say and why and what? Tell us.
Well, I watched this show on Discovery, you know, as you mentioned, the Discovery ID or investigation. Yeah, investigation Discovery. I watched it. It's called The Vanishing Women, and I live in Ohio. And the initial six women that the show's about went missing in Chillicothe, Ohio. And Chillicothe, Ohio is a very small community in the southern part of Ohio that it's like 20,000. It's a small community that's actually it's very depressed in the area. They have it's actually a pretty hotbed for spirit activity. That's why I'm familiar with Chillicothe, Ohio, because the Hopi Indian serpent mounds are there. So, and then the Easy Rider Rodeo biker show used to be there. It used to be one of the biggest biker shows in or get-together or gatherings in Ohio for a number of years, and then something with the mayor or something with Chillicothe, they had this falling out, and they moved that to Columbus. So they've had a lot of pipeliners, but there's 6 women that are missing out of that town, and they fear that it's a serial killer. And as you mentioned, I think 4 bodies have been found now, and 2 are still missing.
Okay. Yeah, and there's like one of them was murdered by a guy called Jason McCrary,
yes.
And he shot her to death, and he's been indicted and is standing trial for that murder. And it wouldn't appear that the Timberley Plater case is related at this point.
No, they're actually separating her case now from the other 5. And they are charging him, but he was also charged with the torture of a man the year before, the one that shot. But when I was after I watched the show, because I used to live in the southern part of Ohio, I started to research a little bit more, and there's actually 8 women that are missing, and all 8 of them went to the same rehab center. And the women didn't. The
That's
other
right.
4, the other 4 are not, or the other 2 are from a different part of Ohio. But they all attended the same rehab center, and now they're looking at that, and the FBI has been brought in.
That's the best thing so far, in a way. The other thing I wanted to pay attention to was that there's Shasta Himmerlich is disappeared the day after Christmas on 2014.
Yes.
And now they're suggesting that, I think it's a little fishy myself. They're kind of taking her out of this as well. But, here's the case where the day after Christmas, she gets a text message or a phone call. She's with her family or something, and she says, I got to go out. I'll be back. And they even have a picture of her, some video coverage of her at a gas station and this kind of thing.
3:15 a.m., yes.
And she was pregnant at the time of her disappearance, and then they recovered her body from the river, and the coroner ruled her death a suicide. That sounds a little fishy to me,
Well, it's very fishy. I feel that she is it's related in some way. They found her car, the bridge that she supposedly jumped off of and drowned. They ruled her death a suicide by drowning. Is a 20 to 30 foot drop, and the water level at that time was no more than 3 feet. And there was no trauma to the body supposedly, but a few superficial cuts that they think were hesitant cuts for suicide. And she'd lost her father, I think, a few months before. But the man that she was dating, and I can't find any more on this. The man that she was dating, I believe his name was Michael Owens or Michael Owes, Owes, but his girlfriend prior to this one died mysteriously and suddenly. And I can't find I can find her obituary, but I can't find her cause of death. So I think there's definitely some relation to that. There's also a woman it's about a 45-minute drive from Chillicothe. Her name's Katie Lancaster, spelled with a D rather than a T. And she also went missing, and she was at the same rehab center. And she's from Portsmouth, Ohio, which is about 40, along the same river. So, and then there was a Holly Logan from that area also missing, and a Jamie Bowen. So there's 3 other women 45 minutes south from Chillicothe that are missing along the same river, but every single one of these girls attended the same rehab center. I can't.
Well, and that's, anybody that died that attended that rehab center definitely needs to be seriously looked at as a connection. You know what I mean?
Yes.
When we are talking about, because I always like to I'm going to say it out loud to, just to put it out there is that, when these women are mostly engaging in high-risk lifestyles, drugs and prostitution, and so that said, it is a smaller town, and there are, they could expand this because there's other women, within this proximity, few hours here or there, you know what I mean? And So it could even be possible that there's like, you know how sometimes the serial killer is like somebody that travels through periodically. And so there could be, you know, a death trail along that lines. But it's now let's look at that the connection to the drug thing. I'm just like talking on the fly right now. In a smaller area, like smaller region or whatever, you know what I mean, like a small town. And this city that we're talking about of 20,000 people, it's the biggest in the area. You know what I mean? There's a lot of much smaller places around. So that if you have a drug, I'm just saying, if you have a drug and you need to go to rehab, either you're being sent to rehab by the prison, by the police system, or your family is sending you. The chances are going to be that anyone within that geographical area are going to go to the same place. You know what I mean? So there is that, which is to say that it may or may not be, you know what I mean? Like, if this was a city of, you know, 300,000 or, you know, and there was a multiple, not different number of programs they could have been in, you know what I mean? My guess is there's like one in that area. So any drug addict in the whole is going to go there. So that means that, and drug addicts tend to die at some point.
Correct.
Now, you know, so I mean, I'm just saying, I'm still of the mindset that something bad is going on there, and I'm not trying to write this off as, oh, the hooker drug addicts, you know, they did it to themselves, or I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that it's interesting the link to the rehab center, but not entirely, you know, not entirely.
I know the FBI is looking at the connection to the rehab center because I don't believe they were all in the rehab center at the same time. So obviously, you know, there's that. That part of Ohio, right. Could be a worker there or whatever. Or it could be somebody that is, like you said, a connection between the court system in Chillicothe and Portsmouth and Athens, Ohio, which is also another hotbed for spirit activity. But that whole area, the drug and sex ring in those areas of Ohio it's astronomical. I mean, it's unbelievable how much drugs are running through these small little areas along that river. But they've also had the pipeliners running through. Ohio's been a hotbed of, and they come from all over the country. That's it. But now here's my point, because the young woman that the first episode of the Vanishing Women or whatever they're calling that show, she was with a friend. This is only told by the friend, okay? So we have to take it as until we can disprove it, okay? But in some sense, some of it was proven. They were out and they met up with these two rig workers or construction workers or whatever they were at the hotel. Went to their room. The friend says that they were feeling a little creeped out by the aggressiveness of these two guys. And the lady that ended up being killed, she decided, let's just say we're going to go get some drugs. And then they tell them they'll come back. And they leave. So then the friend says that they went back, you know, to I guess her place or whatever, and then she was going to walk home or whatever to her grandmother's or whatever down. See, Little Red Riding Hood went to the grandmother's house and disappeared between here and there. So now this back alley or whatever wasn't a very far distance that she was going to be walking. But, you know, that said, if somebody's trolling the streets, randomly looking for a hooker to kill or
whatever, you know what I mean? Then
Mm-hmm.
then it's also possible that, you know, that it's not related to the rehab center as much as it's related to the
The drug and prostitution.
thing. And so it's really hard to say. Could be somebody that is dealing the drugs or whatever. Could be somebody that is out getting, you know, trying to get some free sex out of some prostitutes and then kill them. Just like this guy that got shot, this Neil guy. His name was Neil Falls.
Mm-hmm.
And this was over in Charleston, West Virginia, and last July. And he shows up theoretically as a date, you know, if he's going to pay to have sex with her. He doesn't come with any money, though. And he has a list of 6 other people. He has like a serial killer's kit, so handcuffs and weapons and a shovel, knives, and all this kind of stuff. Bleach, trash bags, sledgehammers, axes, all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And just by some, you know, grace of God, the woman got a hold of his gun and shot him dead. And, you know, so that they were initially looking at him for, you know, possibly targeting sex workers, right? And in a bigger area than just that, West Virginia. And I don't know why they must have something that they've kind of ruled them out on, you know, on these other cases.
Yeah, I believe that they ruled him out, and then the 2 gentlemen that the witnesser, Tiffany Sayer is the girl's name that really brought attention to this case in Chillicothe. She's the one that was prostituting herself to support her drug habit, which was not for very long. And my first initial intuitive nature of this was human trafficking. And then it went from that to drugs, because I was like, are these the girls that fought back that they found in the river and along the way, you know, the bodies and whatnot? And that's
so you mean that
really...
the 2 that haven't been found are maybe you know, in this sex trade trafficking?
Yeah, there's a huge they've arrested quite a few traffickers running in that area up and down that river, and as well as that, you know, that crosses over to, that's the tri-state area. It's, you know, it's pretty evident, but, you know, I don't think there's, you know, you're going to have 6, you know, or 6 show up dead, because like I said, there's more that are about 100 miles away.
And most of these women are being found near the water or in the water.
Along the river, yeah.
And so that's, you know, another similarity, another MO, and that ties it together. So this investigation discovery, for all of you guys that have that, you can go right onto their website if you're in the United States, and you can watch it right on their website, which pisses me off because I can't. And then I guess they're going to be, if you get the channel on your TV, you know, this series is going to continue for a total of 6. I gather that there must be that they're going to be highlighting each of the women or something like that, and maybe then summarizing the whole thing or something like that for the reason why there's 6.
Well, one of the local reporters there started following it in real time, so I believe that Investigation Discovery was actually invited in. So they actually, the filming of each one was during the whole investigation. So it was actual, like, being filmed during the actual, it wasn't after the fact, it was being done with, alongside. But I think it's grown since then, and I do, and I think this is way larger and covers a whole lot more ground. I think it's just not in Ohio. The Scioto River is the river that they've been found in, along that, but, all of that connects to the Ohio River. You know, I mean, it's just, it's a huge amount of space. And, you know, and Ohio is very populated densely, but in between those smaller towns, you can drive for, you know, in Canada, you know, in Alberta or Edmonton or British Columbia,
and watch
you know.
your dog run away forever.
Yeah. And what takes you folks 2 days to drive to a location will take 2 hours here I don't know how to explain it. It's just that there's this dense population, and the drug issue in that area is just, it's overwhelming. But I know a couple of the women, I believe Jamie Bowen had a drug issue, but she was actually pretty well on track. And I can't find anything on the one that they ruled as a suicide. I can't find anything on the boyfriend except that his fiancée before her died suddenly, and she was 26.
Yeah.
So
it's more than, like, you know, I'm like that. This story is complicated because I'm looking at a story that's written like in 2016 in April. You know what I mean? A lot of the stories out there on the internet are back in 2015, 2014. Right. And so now the most recent one really that I got my hands on, which it's not an entirely exhaustive, you know, and there's just so much, you know, that you would have to like spend a couple of solid days just going link to link to link, you know, and then compiling your notes. And I'm not opposed to doing that, but I didn't have the time today in amongst my plumbing and other computer problems I was having. So anyway, so this one is not mentioning the name you just referenced. I have a Megan Lancaster, Charlotte Trego, Tamika Lynch, Wanda Lemons, Shasta Himmerlich, which is the one that they say is
the suicide.
Suspected suicide. Tiffany Sayer, which is the one that the first episode I think was done on. Is that the one?
Yes, and that family is also the one that brought national attention to it because they weren't just gonna. Yeah,
and Kimberly Clader, who is the woman that was shot and killed by this Jason McCrary.
I think hers is separate. Yeah, I separate her murder from the other ones.
So the name you just mentioned is not on this list, which is of April 19th of 2016.
The name, it was Jamie Bowen, Jayme.
Yeah.
I believe Katie Lancaster is Kadie. Megan Lancaster is her mother or her aunt or something that brought attention to it, I believe. Lancaster.
This article is saying Megan Lancaster is the one that's missing.
Oh, okay. So then Katie's probably her. And then Holly Logan. I
don't have a Holly Logan here either.
Yeah, they're from Portsmouth, Ohio, which is Portsmoth. Let me see if I can find the link, but it was it was
they
pretty.
They are talking about after Fall's death, after this other guy got killed by the other prostitute, there were 2 additional women found in Massillon, Ohio area fitting a similar MO to the women who turned up in Chillicothe, and that there's a link here to that, which I'm trying to get. So missing women from 3 different counties attended the same rehab center. So that 3 missing women in central Ohio went to the same drug rehab center in the southern part of the state. For months, residents of Ross County have been sounding the alarm about these mysterious disappearances. There you go. Jamie's Message is a non-profit group that helps families of missing persons. So there's the Jamie. We reach out to family members, blah, blah, blah. Yakangi Park in Chillicothe is where family and friends held a candlelight vigil Thursday night asking for. So Charlotte Trago, Tiffany Sayer, Wanda Lemons are all still missing from Ross County. Bellamy
Yes.
says 3 missing women from 3 different counties all have something in common other than drug addictions. The rehab center in Scioto,
Scioto.
Scioto. Well, okay. How do you get a out of an O? But anyhow, Scioto.
We're talking hillbilly here. We're talking hillbilly.
All right, I gotcha. It's connected not only with Jamie Bowen's case, but down in Portsmouth with Megan Lancaster's case, and in Ross County with Charlotte Trago's case. So
yeah, and Massillon is closer to me.
So there are 2 missing women from Columbus and 2 more from Scioto County, who are the focus of a newly formed task force investigation. 3 women are also still missing in Ross County. Like, this gets so Jamie Bowen.
It's statewide.
So Jamie Bowen has been missing from Columbus since April of 2014. Megan Lancaster has been missing from Portsmouth since 2013, and Charlotte Trago from Ross County since May of 2014. Task force. So in this article, they're only tying 3 of them to that rehab center.
Right, and then I sent you a link. On Skype. I could probably put it in the chat room here too for everybody. It's NBC. It's Missing in America. That's another show you can look up with that, but it shows the connection to at least 6 or 7 of them being in the same rehab center. And then they brought in an FBI task force. And that's as far as I've got on my research so far. I've been researching it and checking along because it's all uncertain. There's definitely rivers that connect it to, and the drug trade and the sex trade for sure. They go hand in hand with this whole situation. But that's why I think there's more than one. I think there's two perpetrators, I guess is the word I would use. And I feel that they're traveling. I feel that there's so much going on in Ohio in these poor, I don't want to call them poor communities, but they are poor communities. They get what here is referred to as hillbilly rich because of the pipeline coming through, the oil wells. These people are given a ton of money. The drugs come in much stronger from out of town, and then they're seeing the higher rate, and then they pull out of town for a while, and then they circle back through. They come in, they dig the wells, they put the pipeline in, and then they leave and they go to the next town. And I just don't know why, but I really truly feel there's a connection with that, more so than the rehab.
I agree because it's either that or a traveling, now a lot of times these people that come in to work on these rig jobs or these other kind of jobs, they go on camp duty or something, and so that they're in for 21 days and out for 7 or something like that, and so they're traveling back and forth. And then what's happening is you have a cycle of them. So one crew's coming in and that crew's going out for their 7 days, and there's this constant, turnover like that going on. And so plenty of dudes out there looking for some sex, you know what I mean? And a more transient nature, so that it wouldn't have to be isolated to one place. Now, when you say 2 people, though, are you saying 2 people working together, or 2 individuals that aren't aware of each other operating independently?
I think it's 2 people that know each other.
And David, when you said 2, I don't think you meant that there were 2 working together. You were, correct me if I'm wrong, David. Were you thinking that there's 2? Oh, you meant 2 working together. See, I think there could be more than one person responsible for, and some of these deaths attributable to one person, and then maybe 1 or 2 of the other ones just to someone else. You know what I mean? And so there's still a serial killer, because more than
Right.
two or something like that becomes a serial killer, serial case. And so I can't say, though, that I feel that every one of these is attributed to the same murderer, you know?
No, I think that I think there's a group of them. Like I said, I think the one that was shot, I don't think she is, the only thing that she had in common was she did drugs and was in the sex trade, but I think, they caught the guy that murdered her, and he really truly definitely isn't okay in the head. He has a huge history of violence, but, that's the one that was shot, and I feel a couple of these other girls, I don't feel Shasta committed suicide. I feel she was murdered.
Yeah.
And I feel that, but I feel her murder was connected to who she was seeing. I think it's too much of a coincidence. I don't truly believe in coincidence. So I think that her, fiance and then a string of mysterious death behind him as well. It might be not the same. I don't know if I would loop her in with this group of women, but I'm trying to research along the pipeline. And is there, like you said, those turnouts, is it not, does it go outside of Ohio? And now they're bringing
sometimes if you can see, now that's why when you look at some of these, with some of them there's a kind of a time interval pattern, and then there's a few that don't fit that rate or that interval. And so that's where I'm getting maybe the idea that a couple of these could just be like the lady that the show was on about the other day, like the first episode. Like that might just well have been an absolute crime of opportunity. You know what I mean? Like she was out there in the middle of the night, walking in a back alley alone. You know what I mean? And plus, being a prostitute and, like the guy that got, there was a guy that got shot, the whole black bag, duffel bag, and blah, blah, blah. There's a couple people that got away, Now, there was a drug dealer guy, but he could have easily been a pimp, too, you know what I mean? And so he killed or beat the shit out of some guy, and then some woman or something was, and, sometimes, you piss off your pimp if you got one, and you're gone. Other times you're just engaging in, my first thought was, that is somebody just ODing these women on purpose, so that it'll just look like that. But the cause of death is not either readily available, or they've shown a couple of these where, the cause of death wasn't a drug overdose, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so then I had to rule that thought out, there was a woman that went missing for several days or something, and when she came back around, she was just said she didn't know where she was for 4 days, and she was just I think she's one of the ones that was maybe attributed to that drug dealer guy, and the same guy that beat up this other fella, and she was just gone for this period of time, and she had no recollection of what had happened. It had looked like she had been through a little bit, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
she didn't have any. So today's lesson, children, do not piss off your pimp. But so it's tough. I think that with these cases, that's why it's so tough, though, is because such a high risk lifestyle anyway. Even if you were just a drug user, like a drug addict, because we're talking heroin, I think, with most, and coke kind of thing with these ones, right? And opiates, so just that alone, just that alone without the prostitution issue is high risk enough. Add into it the prostitution issue, which now subjects you to, all of the same possible causes of death for drugs, right? Now you have sex with a stranger that may or may not want to pay you or whatever. You may or may not have like a pimp that you have to pay or produce for. And so you're introducing extra risks, when you have the prostitution and the drug thing going together. So it's sometimes, for those reasons, I think it's hard. It's easier for these guys to get away with it but in a larger center, these go so much more easily unnoticed. You know what I mean? And they don't link them together. And in Canada, we've had a lot of problems with the Aboriginal women disappearing, and not a lot of concern for that just because of bias and racial issues and lifestyle. People, when hookers go missing, remember all the hookers that pig farmer in BC had going, and nobody really cared too much because they're hookers after all anyway, and they probably whatever. And it's the attitude of society with these, and to me those are the most vulnerable women, because they are on drugs and because they are trying to scrape by and having sex in very dangerous situations, and they're the more vulnerable ones that we should care about that. You know what I mean? We should care about that. And all too often people are all, oh, it's a hooker. What's another hooker? What's another drug addict? You know what I mean? And that kind of disturbs me a little bit.
Yeah, that bothers me too. And some of these women got in the sex trade because of their their drug issues. There's a couple of things. There was in Cambridge, Ohio, near Cambridge, Ohio, there was also a woman that was found near beaten to death. And she said that she was brought, she was from the West Virginia area, and she gave a description of the man that had her and then recanted and said that never happened and all of that. But when they found her, she was near death. And, she said she lied about being kidnapped and beaten and tortured, and that she got high and she didn't remember anything. And I feel that and that didn't make big news. It didn't make it outside of the news outside of Cambridge, Ohio.
That might be the one I was referring to.
Yeah. She didn't actually kill the guy. She gave a description.
No, I don't mean that one. I mean the one I said where the woman that was disappeared for 4 days or however long it was, and she didn't have any awareness, like she didn't know what happened.
That's probably the same one. And she actually gave a description, and they did a composite sketch and put it out there, and then she recanted and said she didn't remember, and she didn't, because of her family and her kids, she didn't want anybody to know that she was a drug addict, and ended up, West Virginia is at least probably 100 miles from Cambridge. But I lived in Cambridge as well. I've got a lot of friends there, and there was a huge amount of pipeline activity in there at the time as well.
I think they really do have to broaden the thing, and it's helpful if more police, and that's why it's sometimes valuable to have the FBI involved. But these communities need to be reporting statewide. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And how many in even a smaller place or whatever have gone missing, but they don't get reported up to the state, so they don't get onto the radar, as being. I've seen so many cases in the United States, for sure, and I'm sure here in Canada as well, though, where, they're like even just a county over, you know what I mean? Because they're not because they have their freaking lines, their borders up and their territory and everything like this, these small town police departments, and right. If they would just, and then there's so many rape kits and other DNA evidence that still hasn't ever been entered in. It's waiting to be entered in. It's never even been properly searched into the records and that, and then once it's entered in, though, it goes national. You know what I'm saying? And then right. if this little town is going to run it, then they'll at least hit up on that. And they can go, wow, we have the same DNA here, so we have the same perpetrator. Now we can start to say, oh, it's between here and here, and oh, and over there too, and you can see then how big of an area we're actually talking about, because I suspect that it's more than just, even the Ohio and the West Virginia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's even a wider.
I think it is. I think this is way, way bigger than just these 6 women. I think this is in the double digits, just because of just the research I've been doing with, like I used to do a lot with the nameus.org in the DOE network. And sometimes if you just put in missing in Ohio, just the amount that pops up, and then if you get a map, and that's the thing that I noticed, that this was these 8 women are all along the Scioto River. But 2 years prior to that, like 2010 through 2013, it was along like the corridor of I-70.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like it's just too much of a coincidence for me, and it goes over the tri-state area, which would be West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky. That's where I found similarities. The
Part
8
of the
women
thing
that
is like, part of it is that they can't piece it all together until they catch a guy, and then they start to go, oh, this guy was way over in that state in the year 2010, and holy crap, there was a bunch of women went missing in 2010 there, and then in 2012 he moved over to Nevada. Holy crap, and there was, guess what, a bunch of women missing over there, and then they can maybe piece some of these together, but they got to start somewhere, and so
right.
I did read an article that, of course, anyways, whenever they're going to profile a case like this, then they're going to get all kinds of new tips and stuff in, but a lot of them are like crackpots calling in too, and so that it really burdens the police, because they have to check it all out, so it burdens them with a bunch of bullshit as well. However, they are getting quite a lot of tips in as a result of this. So they go, investigators. So we're getting new tips. As always, we're encouraging any tip. Blah blah. The volume of new information comes in at the midpoint of the Vanishing Women 6-part series, and Monday's episode focused on Lynch, who disappeared in 2014. The tips are coming in from all over the nation, as they have since the task force formed about a year ago. The show has certainly brought more notoriety, but adding that some of these tips are quite outlandish. And, they do have to look at every one, though, and they're still pursuing the good leads, ones that they're deeming to be good leads. And, at least there's publicity on it now nationwide. It's the same thing we were wanting for Tamara Kingery, like let it be out there, and put it up there on the news. I never did understand, like Tammy Kingery, she's not an ugly woman. She's a white woman, like she fits the profile of somebody that, leaves the kids behind, she fits the profile of somebody that you would think like a Nancy Grace would put on,
Right.
And I don't know how she slipped through that, didn't make it on, but, there should be I know that they used to have the shows, the sort
like
of
unsolved mysteries and stuff.
Yeah, unsolved mysteries, but there should be a nightly show, missing in America, and profile them all. I should go do a GoFundMe and go get a GoFundMe page and set up a TV show and
there you
go. Get these investigations done and brought to the public,
Yeah, there's Chillicothe has such, where the 6 women that the show's focused on, They had 2 suspected heroin overdoses today. Just today alone, they had 2. The heroin that's running through that town it's absolutely mind-boggling with the size of the town. There's so much history in that town. It's a really beautiful little, when you look like you walk through that town and you think you're stepping back in time. And again, there's not much, in my opinion, there's not much to see here in Ohio, but Chillicothe, Ohio, the Serpent Mounds are phenomenal. I mean, it's unbelievable. And, like I said, the spirit activity there, but I think this goes way, I think this is like, in my psychic opinion, these 6 women are connected to something just like the Green River Killer. I think this spans over more than a couple of years, and I think it goes over hundreds of miles, and I think it's all related to the pipeline. I really do believe that. And there is a Facebook page for missing. Can't remember the name. It's if you put in the missing in Facebook, there's a page there, and they post a lot of missing posters and information and stuff like that from all over.
I think there's specifically a Facebook page regarding the Ohio disappearances, and so. Listen, it's almost quarter after, so why don't we take a break from this and
sure.
We'll take Annette's call since she's been patiently waiting since the beginning. Karen, if you're there for a reading, could you please press 1-1 right now, Karen, if you're looking for a reading? Okay, so Karen's looking for a reading. And so that's going to be Annette and Karen. If there's anybody else, let me know right now. Right now, either by okay, so there's an anonymous person. I'm just going to go find out who the anonymous person is. Hello, anonymous person.
Chris, it's me, Tina. I thought a number would show up.
Oh, hey, Tina. No, it's not showing up. It's okay, though. Tina. Okay, so you'll be third in, okay, Tina?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we got 3.
Okay.
Let's go, unless there's somebody else. Mary Margaret, I'm assuming you're just listening. Kimber, I'm assuming you're just listening. So, let's go get the ever-patient Annette. Hello, Annette.
Hello, thank you for taking my call.
Okay, thank you for being patient.
Oh, that's fine. It was interesting. I was interested. How do you do a reading? Do I just give you a name, or do you do a general reading like?
Well, I'm a medium, but I'm also a clairvoyant. So if you have a question that you want to ask, you can. If you're looking for a mediumship reading, I will tell you as best I can who I'm connecting with and give you a message from them.
Okay.
So would you like to ask a specific question, or would you like a mediumship reading?
Well, I just had a former neighbor pass away a couple weeks ago, and basically it was because I lived with a gentleman and I wasn't told. And I just went through a mediumship course, and for some reason it's really bothering me. I feel like that I've tried to find out what happened to her, and nobody's telling me.
Okay, so you're asking to find out what happened to your neighbor who passed away. Did she just pass away in the last 4 weeks?
Yeah, she died June 3rd.
Okay. I'm not connecting with her, but I'm connecting with another female that is telling me that they don't know. I feel she died suddenly, and I do feel she's given me the information that the woman that passed, that they haven't ruled did they do an autopsy? This woman's telling me they haven't ruled how she passed away yet.
See, this is what's bothering me. That's how I feel. I feel very confused, and how come, she was on
she
a lot
older?
of medication. 66 years old.
Okay, I was going to say they're showing me 62. So I thought she was around the age of 62. But they're showing me that they haven't ruled what she passed away from yet. But the woman that's giving me the information is showing me her heart. And then she's showing me the back of her head. So I feel that there was probably a blood clot or an aneurysm or something like that.
I think
but they have.
She got really hurt at work, but this was like a couple of years ago, where a whole bunch of boxes came down on her head, and then she had a neck injury. So I think that you're picking that up.
Okay. There's a direct relation though to her death and that.
Okay.
So that could be a blood clot or something that came up. Sometimes an injury from the past can cause some problems. Was she on blood thinners as well? Do you know?
That I don't know, but she was on a lot of medication. A lot.
Because I'm seeing that they show me that the woman that's giving me the information is showing me, and I don't feel it's her. I feel this is somebody that's related to you that's stepped forward to answer the questions for you.
Okay.
But she's showing me, the head, the back of her neck, but then they're showing me her heart. So I feel there was, a blood clot or something of that effect. And then her heart is what, eventually it gave out. Obviously, sometimes that is what happens. But they can't because of the amount of medication she was on. And was she not found for a couple of days? This woman gives me the impression she wasn't found right away.
That I would find hard because they were retired and her husband was always there. But, I haven't been there,
Okay.
So, but this is what's bothering me is, I have asked a couple different people, and they're not getting back to me. And then for some, like I said, it's kind of like, why isn't somebody telling me I lived there for 5 months? You know what I'm saying?
Right. I get the impression that they don't know what she passed away from, but this woman is telling me that it had something to do with the injury that she suffered on the back of the neck. And I see it like a blood clot. And I do feel that, I don't know what the couple of days is, or that she wasn't found for a couple of days, or maybe that she wasn't acting normal for a couple of days and her husband just didn't pick up on it and they're waiting for results.
Well, I think you're right there, because this is how I figured out that she passed away, is she always used to play the word game with me. I just had it downloaded to my phone,
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden she wasn't there, and I thought, okay, what's going on with her, And I just noticed her little light wasn't on, that she wasn't available,
Mm-hmm.
and she never answered. I asked, and there was no answer. And next thing I know, she's in the obituary. That's how I knew she passed away. But then I started asking. Well, there were 3 different people I asked, and none of them would answer me. And I thought, okay, what's going on?
Yeah, I get the impression that it was a natural death just by this woman. She keeps telling me that it was a natural death, and I do feel that I'm confused why they're showing me that she wasn't found for a couple of days, or there was a 2-day period where.
That's what I was going to say. It was like a couple days before she died. I think her last post in Facebook was the 2nd, something like that. It was like a couple days before,
Okay. Okay,
yeah,
so that would.
Yeah.
So that would make a little sense with that then.
Right. Yeah. But you don't feel she was in any type of pain, do you?
No, I think what happened was is it your grandmother that's passed or your mother? It's your grandmother, correct? You take care of your mother, correct?
No, both of my mother and grandmother are both passed on.
Okay,
but I did take care of my grandmother. I mean, my grandmother lived with me.
Okay, so that's who this is, because she's telling me that you took care of her. She keeps telling me, she says no, that she had I feel that the heart gave out because she shows me the heart ultimately is what killed her.
Mhm.
But she's showing me the back of her head and a blood clot. She's actually showing me on the back of her head by the base of her skull this huge in the psychic image I see is like a black dot, which usually tells me a blood clot or something like that.
Mhm.
I'm not a medical intuitive though, so I don't know
Right.
what I'm looking at. I'm not a doctor or a nurse,
Right.
and I'm not a medical intuitive. So she tells me that there was constriction there or something, and she wasn't acting right. But she shows me 2 days, so I'm not sure if her husband just didn't notice, because sometimes when there's, an injury or somebody's not, I just don't feel well or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they're showing me she wasn't herself for 2 days, and then I don't see any pain. It just there was something wasn't right.
Right. Well, you're
So
right on. I can tell you that. I know that you're right on, because what you have said, that's what I figured out, But it just really bothered me because, I cared for the woman. And, I'm like, how come they're not answering me? You know what I'm saying?
right.
The only thing they had to write back was like, heart attack, and then I would have been fine, But
I
it was
don't
like,
think they know for sure yet, and even though she may have had her final, their final goodbyes or a funeral or a memorial service or whatever, I don't think they have. They know for sure what happened. I think that those results aren't in yet. Because this woman's telling me it's only been 4 weeks. It takes longer than that for the results to come in.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Especially, are you in a big area, like a big metro area?
No, I'm in a country area.
Okay. Because they're showing me that it's going to take time because there's so many for this one person to take care of. So I think it's going to come back that it was ultimately a heart attack or something to do with the heart. But I feel that 2 days prior there was an issue with a blood clot or something like that, like a stroke. The stroke didn't take her out, but something didn't work in the heart after that.
Okay. Well, I thank you so much for your time. That makes me feel better.
And your grandma loves you very much. Is very, very grateful for you taking care of her, by the way.
Thank you so much.
But she shows me these people that you're upset about not calling. She's like, they're all a little self-absorbed anyways. That hasn't changed.
Right.
So she's like, you can't expect them to. She's kind of cold about it. She's like, some things are consistent, which is why you're not there anymore.
Yeah, I was really hurting the deal, but
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that reading very much. Okay.
You're very welcome, and let us know what happens because I'm curious now as well.
I don't know if I'll be able to tell you this. That's why I called in. I mean,
I think you'll know. Your grandmother gives me the impression that you'll know once everybody else knows. You'll find out about it. She's telling me that you will get your answers for sure, but I'm pretty sure it had something to do with that injury, and then that just eventually, like I said, I think there was a blood clot. I think there was a stroke that she may have survived, but her heart did not.
Yeah, well, she was an alcoholic too, on a lot of medication. So, I don't know if that had anything to do with it.
Well, they'll have to weed all that out. They'll have to make sure it wasn't, too much medication, and it wasn't. So that'll take time.
Right. Well, I thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. You have a good night.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks. Take care. You betcha. Take it easy. Okay, Karen, here we come.
Okay.
Hello, Karen.
Hi, it's Karen from Chicago. How are you?
Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Karen.
Hello. I have a question. I applied for an unemployment claim, and it got contested by my employer, my ex-employer. I think that's kind of common, but I'm wondering, I'm getting my paperwork ready now, because they're saying that I never contacted them, and I'm going to take my phone records and really go prepared. And I'm just wondering if you see me, winning my case. I have another interview for someplace else on Monday, but just kind of working if everything will work out.
I do think you'll win the case, but I don't think by the time you get that, you'll be actively employed again.
Oh, okay.
You mean you think she will be working again by the time she gets that?
Yes.
Or you think
By the time they get it, I mean, I think you have to appeal it anyways because that'll leave a paper trail behind. But by the time they get it all processed and everything, you'll probably get one check for a couple of the weeks you were off, and then you'll already be employed. So.
Okay. And you think it'll be this place that I go to Monday that I'll be working?
I don't know if it'll be with the interview that you're going through on Monday, but I'm seeing that you'll be employed within the next 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So,
that's cool.
I think the denial is just normal, and then you appealing that takes time. It'll take 3 to 6 weeks. You'll probably get one check just for the time you were off, but you'll probably have. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that you'll be employed by that time.
Okay.
Gentleman that's stepping up is telling me in the next 3 to 4 weeks she'll be working again.
Oh, okay.
So.
That sounds good.
So, maybe it is Monday interview. I don't know when, I don't know where the employment will come from. I don't know if it's an interview you've already done and they call you back or one that's coming, but 3 to 4 weeks he's showing me that you'll be working.
Okay. Yeah, I've been sending out a lot of stuff, so yeah, it could be anywhere really. So I understand that. Yeah. Sounds good. Something's better than nothing. Yes, so.
So now quit while you're ahead. Don't ask any other psychic and just go with the good news and take it to the bank.
Okay. That sounds good. I can relax.
Exactly. And really, if you have all your proof, there's no reason why you won't win it anyway. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I just think that's an asshole move for an employer to make. Right. That's just.
I think they probably are trying to just protect themselves, or I don't know. But that place is kind of shady anyway.
Bottom line with the employers is they don't want to put out more money than they have to, so they deny almost all. Most of them will deny unemployment unless they do a mass layoff, because they actually get a tax break for the mass layoff if they give them unemployment. So that's just natural because the bottom line is they want to save money and they figure you'll get a job or you won't fight it after it's denied. It actually costs them. Yeah. It works way different in Canada.
You're the worker and the employer pay out of each paycheck into the unemployment insurance thing. Half the time you have employers that want to let you go, and you wouldn't qualify for EI because they're firing you and they're willing to just call it a layoff so you can collect your EI. You know what I mean? So they can be rid of you. You know what I mean? And you won't fight them on the firing or whatever. And that sounds like a shitty system. Sounds like a pretty shitty system. I mean, it's not great here, but it's a pretty shitty system. I mean, on top of that, we have like a list of 50 just cause reasons where you can quit your job and still be eligible for EI.
Yeah, now here in the States, the employer and the employee pays into it as well. But if you quit, they can deny it, and it's very hard for you to appeal it.
But here it's not the employer that denies anything. You go to the EI place.
Right.
Okay? And you go, here, I quit. Did you quit or did you get fired or laid off, Karen?
No, I was laid off. The project ended.
So now at what point is there any reason for that to not just go through as a layoff?
I categorized that because that was the only box that they had. But the company that I was working with, not the agency, but the company said that they had lost funding for the program. So then the agency took over.
My point being, the way Kathleen was talking is that an employer suddenly would get an extra penalty if they lay someone off, or if they fire someone or whatever. And here, everybody pays in, and if there's a layoff, it's an automatic. There isn't even a dispute. If they mark on the box layoff, it's just done. You know what I mean? There is no dispute. You just will get your EI.
Well, I guess because this is an agency, it's a little different, because they're saying that I never contacted them for additional work. When I called them with my cell phone, right, and they're saying I never contacted them, I just disappeared, and it's not true. I use my cell phone, so I'm going to get my cell phone records through my company.
They won't deny it a second time, but I think by the time you get your first check, you'll already be actively employed again.
Okay.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Thank you. I will.
Okay, Karen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. And it was an anonymous. Tina. Hello,
Hi.
Tina.
Hi, Chris.
Going?
Hi, Colleen. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling.
I have a question regarding my roommate. She informed me that she will be moving in with her boyfriend, but then yet she doesn't want me giving the place up until August 1st. I wanted to know if you see her actually moving out, and if you do, who do you see moving in with me?
I answered this question the last time you called in.
No, I never asked you a question about my roommate.
Is she moving in with her boyfriend?
That's what she told me, yes.
Okay.
She just told me.
She's asking you not to move anybody else in until August 1st, correct?
Yeah, she said I should let them know with the understanding that they can't move in until August 1st.
Well, is she going to pay you until August 1st?
Yes, she is. She is going to.
Okay, that's a fair deal then.
Yeah.
So what's your question? I mean, I can't read.
I'm asking, I don't know if she's really sure she's moving out, and I wanted to know if she is actually moving out. Or,
well, I can't read her without her permission, but I see you moving. I see you with a new roommate, so I'm going to go with yes, she's going to move. But I think that if she is, if she's going to pay up till August 1st, that's when you'll have to start looking for a roommate in July for August 1st. And say, she's paid up through August, because people in July will be looking for a place.
No, she wouldn't pay through August. She's paying up to July.
Well, then you can look for a roommate till July. You don't hold it till August.
Yes.
No way. No.
Yeah.
No, that's my point. My point is, if she wants you to hold it until August, she pays you tillUgust. That's all there is to it. Otherwise.
Yes.
No,
that's
move somebody in. No, go and aggressively find the replacement. You do not need wishy-washy bullshit anyway. I'm here, I'm not going to be here, well, maybe I won't be. You're going to go aggressively pursue a good roommate.
I have posted some ad. I've had some response. I haven't had anyone serious right now. Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure out who moves in next.
So
I
you
got
might.
The idea from
so
you,
you might.
That the reason
you might
why
have
you're
to
asking,
also.
I got the idea from you that the reason you're asking is, how hard should I really look for a new roommate?
No. I know. I have. No.
Let me finish. Because if she's coming back, then I don't need to put too much effort into finding another roommate, right? I think at this point, screw your current roommate. Replace her as soon as you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do
you have an idea who is coming?
No, but choose carefully. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because she told me she was staying for a year, and when she started seeing the guy, she even told me she was staying up till December. You know, so I mean,
bullshit.
Yeah.
Already, she's your ex-roommate. Start thinking about her as your ex-roommate.
She doesn't come home anyway, so she doesn't come home.
Okay, and here's the deal. Okay, act prudently, responsibly, choose somebody for all of the right reasons. You cannot ask a psychic who's coming, because this all based on this moment in time. Tomorrow someone else might see your ad and changes the whole thing. So you just be
she wants me to sell her bedroom stuff too.
Forget no. Unless you
see, that's why I know she's not. That's why I'm asking, because she doesn't sound serious.
Okay, stop. So here's what you say to somebody like that. If I'm getting the money, then yes, I'll sell your furniture. Otherwise, get it the fuck out of my house when you leave. As soon as your rent is done, your furniture is gone, or I own it. That's how that goes. Okay?
Yeah,
that's
true.
How that goes. Seriously. You're making too many problems for yourself. Really. You say to the person, give me a written notice, and I will hold the place for as long as you're paying me. If you're paying me to the end of July, then, but really, if you're giving me notice, because you got to think about it this way. Let's say you find somebody that wants to move in for August 1st, and then numbnuts over there decides that she wants to change her mind, and after she had a little spat with the boyfriend, and well, maybe I'm not going to move in, you're going to screw over the person that, in good faith, you had an agreement with to move in August. You must be in a position, you have to be in a position to say, she's done at the end of July. She has no place to stay unless you have a vacancy. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I do understand that. I do understand that. I just had a feeling she would come in the middle of things and say, hey, can I still stay?
The answer is no.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's that simple. If she doesn't pay now.
Someone came, was interested in seeing the place, and she wanted to buy, may have bought her furniture, and the girl decided not to take the keys, and they extended her lease. And I told her, now you can put your ad out so someone can buy your furniture, and she hasn't done that. So that makes me question how serious she is. And
forget about her, and all you can deal with is what you know. And so you tell her tomorrow, or send her this in writing, text it or email it, and say, look, I can't live with uncertainty. I need to have a paying roommate, and so you're leaving at the end of July, and you're gone. All of your stuff must be out of here on June 30th.
Yes.
Or July 31st, wherever she's paying you till the end of June. Your stuff needs to be out of here by June 30th, or else it's mine. You know?
I don't want it.
Well, or you tell her, you put in there, or I will charge you for whatever removal fees it costs me to have your stuff hauled out of here. You know what I mean?
True.
Can't deal with somebody like that. So just get on with it. And do not let your life be on hold until this wishy-washy person decides what they're going to do. Okay?
Yeah. I just didn't understand the fact that she was very stern on the fact that no one can move in, and she doesn't even come home. And I was like, why?
You don't have. Hey, you're advocating on her. It doesn't matter. It's your place. Do you have a lease with her? Anything in writing?
No, I decided not to sign a lease with her.
Hey, no, you gotta listen. Stop talking, okay? You gotta get in writing to her that you have notified me that you're leaving at the end of June. You must be gone. You might be in a position under landlord and tenants laws that you now have to give her a month's written notice. Better check out your laws there, woman.
Oh no, I told her to give me a month's notice, and so she's giving me like 45 days. So.
Maybe. That's my point though, like listen, it's all in your hands because you're the one that's pushing.
No,
I'm
actively looking, and if someone else comes in, and she says no, I'm not going to jerk the person around because
well, you need to stop because every time you get the answer here, you're going back to because she said she blah. Who cares what she said?
I think maybe because I like her.
You're driving me crazy.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many times you ask the question with different words. The answer's the same.
No matter what any of us say, you're going to do what you're going to do anyway. So.
No. I'm actively looking, and I've had people who want to check it out. I've had people. It's a really nice place, and so but I don't have, and I want to make sure. That's why I'm checking.
All right, I already answered the question.
Yeah, you have. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate
You're welcome.
it. Oh, you didn't tell me how soon the person will move in.
I'm not going to tell you that because you're not listening to the first part of your question.
I heard
You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. Good luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think somehow I got muted too. That's not fair. I only muted that one person. That's funny. I wonder if muting the one. I'm going to unmute Tina just quickly. Don't speak, Tina. You're not allowed to speak. I'm only unmuting you to test how I can mute you again. Okay, I muted her. I don't know how I got muted, and at the same time she got muted. But anyway, okay. So that was fun.
Yeah.
Always an adventure. And, so that takes care of that. That's all our callers. Hello, Alicia. Hello, Amy Kavanaugh. Hello, Tina and Christy and Deb. Oh, guess what? The romper room woman died, eh?
Oh no.
Yeah. I was like the day after, or 2 days after, I was doing the little romper room joke, with my little magnifying glass. I go, I see. So she's gone. She's a goner. Poof, gone. Poof, gone.
That's sad. I loved romper room. I see Chris, and I see Corrine, and I see Renee. I see Dragon.
It's their birthday. So hello, Deb and Dorothy and David. And Fellini and Diane in Canada, Keith, Judy's there, Amber, and Mary Margaret, full of grace, how does your garden grow? Medium Renee Richards in the house. Supernatural Radio, get your Tesla Energy Plate today at www.purpleplates.com.
Judy says she was on the romper room.
Oh, that's funny.
Kind of cool.
I was about to say www.wkrp. What the hell was that? I swear to God, I'm getting
WKRP in Cincinnati. That was a show.
The Illuminati. I know the Illuminati is taking over control of my mind. They can have it, quite frankly. Good luck with that, guys. And Corrine is there. Sandy again is there without sound. I do not understand why does Wildflower Wind always come here and then have no sound? Is she just lurking on the chat? Is she just spying on the chat room? I don't know. Anyway, and our wireless caller, who is Annette. That's who's in the house. That's the crew. And
big crew tonight.
Deb. Nice to see Deb here. Deb. We got about 15 minutes. Why don't you just do a quick gallery? Throw out the first bits that you got. Do a quick gallery.
A quick gallery reading? Okay, well, Let me connect. There's a Betty coming through. Who's connected to Betty?
Betty? Anybody
Betty.
got a Betty? Betty.
A woman steps forward and says she's Betty. She actually says, my name is Betty, friend of the family. Okay.
Of course you do, Diane. I can guess that. Okay, so she has two Bettys. Which Betty do we have? Door number 1 or door number 2?
This Betty shows me that she, dark hair, dark eyes, she had I would call it a smackle of freckles right here. Right, like on her, like right across the bridge of her nose. She looks fairly young, but I definitely think those freckles were a trademark on her. Does that connect to any of the three Bettys? Because Deb
Diane,
had a friend of the family.
Diane, do you want to make this easy
Okay.
and just enact your mic? We'll give her a second.
I think it's the one that.
Go ahead.
Deb, was she a dark, like a dark redhead or like a lighter redhead? Because this woman has
Deb
darker
has
hair.
I want Deb and Diane to both get their mics working pronto.
Okay.
It'll make it a lot easier. Deb's coming on.
Okay.
And Diane. Come on, Diane. It's just easier this way, you know. We get to the bottom of find out whose Betty we have. Hey, there's somebody who just. Oh, that was a dog.
Am I here?
That was my dog.
Hey, Deb.
Hey.
All right, Deb.
So I'm here.
Okay, so Deb, you said she was a redhead and she lightened her hair?
Yes.
Okay. All right, because this woman looks like she has dark hair, a little bit darker hair.
Okay. Well, then
and my dog always starts to react to spirit energy when it's this strong, so sorry about that. She's trying to talk to me.
I have two of them that do that, so I understand.
Diane, you're also on, okay? So you know.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Okay. So, Deb, did the woman did she ever have dark hair, and then she has freckles that go like right underneath her eyes and like across the bridge of her nose? Like it was she's showing me a very specific pattern of her freckles. That's
where you noticed them, because even if she put makeup on, they'd come through, right? Like you said, cross like under her eyes and the bridge of her nose, you know, down her nose.
Okay. And so that was like her trademark. Everybody knew her because of the freckles.
She never looked her age. She always looked much younger.
Okay. And who was she to you? Was she like an aunt or a friend?
Well, she was a friend of the family, but I rarely called her aunt. I always called her Betty, but I was closer to others in that group. But it was one of those Dutch aunt and uncle things. They lived in the apartment next to us. Okay.
And did she cook like big meals like stews and soups? She's showing me stews and soups and always making sure everybody ate.
Well, she did that at our house. She ate at our house.
Okay. All right, because she shows me that food was the way to get everybody around. It was the way to get everybody close.
Yeah, she loved the big, weekends or summer, sit down, put all the tables in the yard kind of dinners. Yeah, she liked those.
Okay. All right. And did she gossip all the time too at those dinners? She would tell everybody the neighborhood gossip.
Oh, I don't know.
She's showing me that she's always talking about the neighborhood gossip and everything. And she keeps talking about getting ready to help someone cross. So I don't know if that's a husband. I do see it as a male. And she shows me that she is around him constantly. trying to help him with that.
She was always around Uncle Joe. Yeah.
Okay. So she's stepping forward to say that she wants everybody to know that she's near. Okay. And that she's taking care of him. So I don't know if he's really sick. I don't normally see any kind of death unless I can change it because it's something I've requested. But she's stepping forward and she's saying she's very happy with everybody and she wants everybody to know that she wants everybody to get together with him, Joe, or get together with him soon. She's like, he's lonely and he needs to see everybody. So I don't know if that's possible for you to do that, but
they're all over there on that side. They're all over there.
Okay. So he's already passed.
Yeah, they both are. Mm-hmm.
Okay. She's talking about a male that is living, that is ill.
Oh, then I don't know who that is. So It must be somebody else's Betty.
Yeah, she's showing me that there's a male that she says is sick. He wants everybody to get together. And everybody doesn't have time, but she shows me that. She says she was known for her freckles and her food and bringing everybody together and the gossip in the family.
Well, like I said, she would, like when she'd be with us, she'd come and she would serve everybody. But when it came to the cooking, no. Our food went to her.
I'll tell you what she shows me. I'll tell you what she shows me. I don't know who she's connected to because she stood forward and didn't give me a name of who she's connected to or anything. She showed me her freckles. Her hair looks dark. It doesn't look like you said. She might have lightened her hair, but I see her hair is darker. I see the rather than fair skinned, I see the little smackle of freckles up over the nose. I mean, if she was a redhead and she dyed her hair dark, it would look darker to me. She keeps talking about making stews and big, just open the door and let her out, honey.
Maybe it's Diane.
Pipe up if you got a dark-haired person with freckles across their nose, Diane. That's Betty.
Actually, yeah, I do. I didn't want to say anything, but yeah, I do.
Okay, she also shows me...
Let us just keep spinning our wheels for 2 hours, Diane.
Well, I thought the other person claimed time. Okay.
So that's why I brought both of you on, was so we could figure out whose it was.
I scared everybody when I said to Tina, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's scared of me now.
Don't yell at me. I didn't do it.
I don't think so.
I'm not scared of you. I'm just proud of you.
I've got two Bettys. Two Bettys. One an aunt, and another one would be like a fake aunt. And they were both dark hair, but the one you're describing, it sounds like one. She had like a bed and breakfast, and she.
That's her. Okay.
That's her. Okay. And it would be her sister then that I think is going to pass soon.
Okay. Does her sister, she talks about a male rather than her sister, but she shows it to me as a male. And she's telling me that everybody needs to get together because it's important. It's important to him. It's important to her. That does not mean it's important to the rest of you. That's the way I see it. But she shows me that. She shows me stews and soups and bringing everybody together for a meal. She shows me that she used to like to sit in a lawn chair, and it looks like one of those old, I call them old fashioned, but they were weaved, with the nylon, you know what I'm talking? It looks like a checkered pattern on the chair. And they would fold up the aluminum. She shows me that she would sit on an aluminum chair like that, and she would gossip about everybody in the family. She always had something to say about everybody in the family. If anybody wanted to know something about the family, they went to her. They got all the gossip. People would come to the meals just to hear what she had to say about the rest of the family.
Yeah, that's true, actually, yeah. Died fairly young, but yeah.
So, I don't know who the gentleman is, but I get the impression that that there's a male in the family that's ill and getting ready to pass. Deb says they had those chairs too. So I don't know who Betty is for which one of you, but maybe it's a postcard reading for both of you. But Betty is very adamant that she was well known before her freckles and her cooking, bringing everybody together. And then that particular chair she would sit on, like I see it weaved.
Well, there's a bizarre story about when my stepfather died in '99. This is other Betty. The other Betty, she was like a fake aunt. She was a character, and anyway, she basically came to my stepfather's funeral. She did hang in, and she was bringing stew or something, but she got lost, and she blocked the funeral procession, and couldn't let us out because she didn't know how to back up her Cadillac. So she blocked, like the body from leaving, and then she took off the street. And 3 hours later, she was kind of drunk, I think, and she phoned me and said, "I'm in Markham. Where is the funeral again?"
Oh my God.
So it was nuts, but she should have come with lots of food, and she would have come with some great stories, but she never made it because she was still lost.
Oh my God!
Headed to a bar or something, right? But I connect with that too, like a while ago. And I only heard just recently she did pass away. But I think she looked like she also always had dark hair, but she had a twin sister who was a redhead and who had freckles. And I don't know if Betty had freckles when she was young, but...
This woman is very adamant that her freckles were part of her trademark, like everybody knew about.
Freckles.
Yeah, so it's probably more for Deb than you, because I don't know which Betty who she's for, but it's one of you two, obviously.
Right.
Someone take the damn woman, for crying out loud.
Yeah, she's just telling me that somebody's ill and that everybody needs to get together, that everybody's forgetting how important it is to get together.
Renee's cat has a Betty.
Oh, okay. We'll go with Renee's cat.
Renee's cat. It's a friend of Renee's cat called Betty. A friend of Renee's cat called Betty. Is there a message? Meow.
You're freaking me out. That's what the message will be. You're freaking me out.
Meow.
Meow.
Well, we're at the end of regulation time. So what I'm going to do real quick is, because I don't want to be a burden on the server sides and everything else, so I'm going to thank, we're not going nowhere, but I'm going to wrap the archive part of it. And so tomorrow we have Stop, Drop, and Think with Amy Kavanaugh and Jen Young and Kathleen Moore. You can get a hold of her at her website, Kathleen Moore, psychic-medium-kathleen-moore, Kathleen Moore reading at gmail.com, or 330-554-8202. And so thank you for that.